Alright, guys, so, since it is the weekend of Star Trek's 50th anniversary, I decided to finally review Star Trek Green Lantern, The Spectrum War. Now, the thing about this crossover is that with most crossovers it goes to status quo at the end of every crossover, these kind of one-and-done stories. This is vastly different, so I don't know how I initially, going in, I didn't know how to feel about, knowing that this was going to be taking, pretty much changing both the DC and IDW universe, and I kind of thought about it a little more, and I was like, you know what? It's already an alternate universe in Star Trek, and in Green Lantern-wise, it's just another, there's 52 universes, so it's just another another era in the multiverse, so why not, right? Why not have another DC... So this is just another DC universe where Blackest Night went off without a hitch. So, yeah, so the story is that that Nekron, who is the main villain of this story, Nekron has once again started the Blackest Night. This time around, he was ready to keep the White Lanterns from, the white entity, from destroying him like it did the last time. This time and this is kind of interesting because and I'm going to be quoting my friend Sid Part 2. Sid Part 2 in his review said, "Yeah, why don't villains do this more often?" What he means is that when villains do an evil plan and they almost succeed, and they just lose for one reason, why not just do the same evil plan again, but prepare for that one moment, If you got that close to victory, but then you lost because of one thing, just do it again, but prepare for that one thing over again. That's actually, instead of just doing an entirely new plan, why not just do it over, do something completely different this time around? Seems like a logical explanation, right? So anyway, Ganthet has taken the remaining rings and used what is called the Last Light, which has transported him, the rings, and the remaining Lantern cores out of the DC universe that is now just quintessentially dead. Everyone's dead. And has brought them to the Abrams Star Trek universe. Yeah, this is the J.J. Abrams Star Trek universe. And when Ganthet, unfortunately, died, he did manage to save Hal Jordan, Atrocitus, Sinestro, Carol Danvers, not Carol, Carol Ferris, and a few other of the other, and, of course, Larfleeze, Atrocitus, and also some other Green Lanterns, John Stewart, Kilowog, and Guy Gardner. Kyle, of course, did not make it, because, yeah, why not let the one guy who helped to defeat, Nekron the last time, because, anyway, sorry, what was I... sorry about that. So what was I saying? Yeah, Kyle Rayner unfortunately did not make it because, one of the most popular characters with Green... the guy who saved the Green Lantern Corps the last time. Yeah, whatever, okay. Okay, whatever. I'm not even going to bother with that. But, yeah, this is actually a really interesting idea, but I was talking with my friend Ian about this crossover, and we kind of came to this consensus that some of the rings didn't make sense to go with certain people. And yeah, the rings do choose several people, but at the end of the comic, there actually is one person who gets all the rings and unleashes the White Light entity. And I'll talk about that in a minute, because it actually makes a lot of sense when you really think about it. So, yeah, the rings that are, the rings choose Chekhov. Chekhov gets the blue ring, Bones gets the indigo ring, Chang in the Abrams universe version of General Chang from Star Trek Undiscovered Country, he's a main villain, and here gets the Sinestro Corps ring, a Gorn gets the red ring, a Romulan gets the orange ring, and Uhura gets the Star Sapphire ring. The green ring doesn't go to, I don't think there was a Green Lantern. Yeah, it was there, that was about it. But yeah, so, also Nekron has snuck into this universe, and he has actually, a pretty decent plan. He's just gonna do it over again, but this time he's actually gonna have a home world built out of the now destroyed world of Vulcan. If you guys remember, all the way back in Abrams' first Star Trek film, Vulcan was destroyed by the Romulan known as Nero. He destroyed Vulcan and made the Vulcans an endangered species. There's less than what was it? 3.1 million, or is it? I think it was even less than that. But yeah, the Vulcan's now an endangered species. But now he's making Necron is making it the Black Lantern homeworld and resurrecting all the Vulcans that had died during the destruction of Vulcan. So yeah, the Lanterns have to team up with the Star Trek crew. But yeah, it's kind of weird because I feel like some of the lantern rings didn't really match up with them, with some of the characters. I feel like Scotty should have gotten the blue ring, and hear me out why. Scotty's always been the most hopeful and most optimistic of all the team members, all the crew members, of the Enterprise. So I feel like he should have been, the Blue Lantern. Bones shouldn't have gotten... he's not really the most compassionate person. He's more of the... he's a very realist kind of person. And plus, if you know your lantern rings, then you know that the Indigo tribe is actually meant for redeemed people. So I feel like it should have gone to somebody else. Uhura in this universe kind of makes sense for having a Star Sapphire ring. Chang getting the yellow ring. That didn't. I think he should have gotten the red ring. I feel like because he was a very angry person. He was very aggressive, and I feel like if anything, I feel like the yellow ring should have gone to the Romulans, one of the Romulans, because the Romulans, especially in the original series, were always kind of built with a lot of fear. Especially if you've seen the episode Balance of Terror, it always treats the Romulans like this very devious and very cunning threat. So I feel like the yellow ring should have gone to the Romulan, and it would have been hysterical if the orange ring went to Harry Mudd. If you know your Star Trek, then you know who Harry Mudd is. He would have made a great Orange Lantern. But that's just me. That's just my opinion. It is kind of cool to see all the lantern rings and all that. And there is some cool moments. Like, there is this epic moment where Hal Jordan takes command of the Enterprise and actually builds a Green Lantern construct of the Enterprise class, of the Federation class ship they're on, and he makes the symbol on it 2814. Sector 2814, and I was like, no wait, is it? Yeah, whatever. The Earth sector he's from. That's what I meant to say. I am completely jumbled in my words. I deeply apologize for that. I'm tripping over the words here. But yeah, this is a very cool crossover. There's some cool fights in here, but I feel like halfway through the story they kind of forget about the other new Lanterns, because they're at the end of the story they're just like, oh, we're just going to keep fighting each other while everyone's fighting Necron. And that was supposed to be the main point of the story, is to introduce these new Lanterns. And it felt kind of wasted to have Chang in, the new Abrams universe version of Chang in here, when he's just not even hardly he plays a big villain in the first 2 issues, but really, he just kind of gets forgotten, and it just all goes to Necron again. But no. I think he still has the yellow ring by the end of it. And speaking of the rings, let me talk about now the person who summons the White Lantern entity, and that person is Spock. Now, you're probably wondering, well, Spock's emotionless. How the hell does that work? Well, the reason being is because Spock, Vulcans in general, have intense emotions. They actually have them greater than humans, but they've learned to suppress it. They feel greater amounts of joy and all of that, but it overwhelms and kills them. Going back to, what the episode of Next Generation where Sarek mind melds with Picard, it's talked about, Vulcan, a lesser being would be killed by the true emotions of a Vulcan. It takes a lot of strength to suppress it all. So it makes, and also, we saw that before in the episode Amok Time. And I know technically this isn't really canon, but I guess the science the science is sound, more or less, in here. So it does make a lot of sense to me that Spock would be the one who got all the rings and unleashed the White Lantern entity to destroy Necron. And it does end with the DC the Lantern characters now staying in the Star Trek universe, and Scotty actually making a new Lantern Corps out of it. And I thought that was pretty cool. So I'm actually glad for those who don't know, this is going to get a sequel, so maybe this will maybe this will explain more, and maybe this will fix the DC universe that was killed. Who knows? I'm very much looking forward to where they're going to go with this, and I'm really glad got a sequel. This was actually a lot of fun, and I was a little hesitant to read it because, again, I wasn't really big on the whole universe-changing thing. But then, like I said, I thought it over and I was like, well, it's more, you just look at it like another part of like an Elseworld story. That's the best way to look at it, is like, it's an Elseworld story, really. DC Elseworld story. But yeah, all in all, I highly recommend this. I think I might actually like this more than the TMNT Batman crossover, because this actually does a lot of justice for both, whereas the TMNT Batman crossover felt like it was a little more Batman than TMNT, this feels like it's an equal amount of love for both Green Lantern and Star Trek. So, again, if you really dig Green Lantern, and especially Star Trek, and if you're a big fan of the Abrams universe, I would say give this a shot. But anyway, once again, hope you all enjoyed this review, and I will see you guys later.